All right, welcome to training camp, everybody. Go ahead and grab a seat, get those notebooks ready, and let's lock in. I am absolutely thrilled to be your coach today for this explainer because, frankly, we're going to fix a massive leak in your game. We're talking about why your business proposals are currently losing, and more importantly, how to flip the script and turn them into an unstoppable winning streak. We're drawing from some absolutely brilliant insights by MRZ Canada Inc. today, and let me tell you, their playbook, it is a total game changer for how you close deals. Okay, let's just dive right into it. Because right now, while rookies are out there babbling on and on about their services, all their awards, and their lengthy company history, the client's internal monologue is literally screaming, "Do you even understand my problem? It's a total disconnect." Look, most proposals do not fail because your pricing is too high. They fail because you're starting the conversation focused on the completely wrong thing. You're talking about you, and they are sitting there wondering if you even have a clue about them. So here's our chalkboard session for today. First, the rookie proposal mistake. Second, we'll introduce the 70-20-10 playbook. Parts 3, 4, and 5 will break that playbook down. 70% defining the problem, 20% pitching outcomes, and 10% pivoting to value. And finally, part 6, stop selling, start solving. Let's get moving. Starting off with section 1, the rookie proposal mistake, and exactly why you're losing the deal. It's time to roll the game tape and call out the classic errors killing your deals before the ink even gets close to the paper. Here's the thing. Traditional proposals are written entirely from the seller's perspective. The rookie gets a chance to pitch, and boom, they immediately just list their menu, what they offer, what they can do, and why they are so incredibly good at it. But listen to me carefully. The client doesn't care. They care about exactly one thing in this world, and that is their own problem. If your proposal doesn't clearly reflect their specific challenges, their frustrations, and their goals right off the bat, you've lost them. Everything else, including your highly competitive price, just becomes irrelevant noise. Which brings us to section 2, the 70-20-10 playbook, our new strategy. Team, it's time to scrap those old losing habits. We are implementing a new, simple, powerful, and entirely client-centered framework. Let's break down the mechanics of this winning play. From now on, your proposals are no longer sales pitches. They are client-centered strategy documents. 70% of the space, literally the vast majority of the document, will be dedicated purely to the client's problem. Then, and only then, 20% is dedicated to your solution. And finally, a mere 10% at the very end is reserved for the price. This deliberate pacing, this specific visual and structural shift, this is how you actually win over a modern client. Let's dive into our first major drill in section 3, 70%, define the problem, because it really is all about them. Let's get into the weeds of how you execute this massive first chunk of the proposal. All right, here is your ultimate coaching tip, so write this down. Use their own words. The majority of your proposal has got to focus entirely on the client's exact situation. There is absolutely zero room here for your assumptions, and definitely no room for generic copy and paste boilerplate statements. You need to reflect their exact challenges, their current limitations, and their missed opportunities. If they told you on a call they feel stuck in the mud, you literally write "stuck in the mud" in the proposal. Parroting their language right back to them proves that you were actually listening. Let's look at a concrete example to really cement this. Usually, you see the rookie habit, which is just a boring menu of offerings. Incorporation, website, marketing, SEO. It's dry, right? Now compare that to the veteran technique. Listen to this. You mentioned your business is not generating consistent leads, and you rely mainly on referrals. Your online presence is limited, making it difficult for potential customers to find and trust your brand. Boom. Do you see the difference there? You aren't just listing technical tasks. You are demonstrating a profound, deep understanding of their specific pain points. And when a client reads that veteran approach, when they feel that deeply understood, something kind of magical happens. You instantly build trust, a real human connection, and, crucial to closing deals, urgency. So the main takeaway here is this. Without laying this massive 70% foundation by clearly defining the problem, the rest of your proposal will have absolutely zero impact. You just can't skip the warm-up and expect to win the race. Moving right along to our second drill, section 4, 20%. Pitch the outcomes. And please stop listing features. You've set them up perfectly. Now I am warning you. Do not ruin a great setup by suddenly dumping a massive technical checklist on their desk. Let's compare the rookie and veteran plays again. The rookie overloads the client with features. Website development, SEO optimization, social media management. You're forcing them to do the hard work of translating those features into actual business value. Don't do that. Run the veteran play instead. Positioning your business to be visible online, build trust with your audience, and create a system that consistently generates leads. Clarity wins every single time. Your solution needs to feel like a direct, meaningful answer to the exact problems you just defined, not a confusing menu of technical services. Now we enter Act 4 of our playbook, Section 5, 10% Pivot to Value. This is all about making price irrelevant. Let's slow down the pace here for a second, because this is where the psychological reframing happens. This is where we finally, at the very tail end of the document, talk about the numbers. But before we just drop a price tag on the page, we need to apply a little tough love about the stakes. You must establish the cost of doing nothing. Lost customers, missed revenue, delayed growth, weak market positioning. When clients vividly understand what they are currently losing by staying stuck in their problem, the psychology totally flips. Your proposal transforms from being seen as a painful business expense into a necessary, urgent rescue operation. If you don't establish that cost of inaction, the client is just going to look at the number at the bottom of the page and ask, is this expensive? That right there is amateur hour anxiety. That is the question clients ask when you haven't properly positioned your value. When you've just handed them a list of features with a price tag attached, you are literally forcing them to commoditize you. But if you executed the first 90% of our playbook correctly, if you spent 70% of the time deeply validating their problem and 20% pitching clear outcomes, the client's mindset has completely shifted. Now they look at the price and ask the veteran question, is this worth solving my problem? That is a massive shift in power, folks. You are no longer competing on price, you are positioning value, and value almost always wins. Let's bring this training camp to a close with Section 6, Stop Selling, Start Solving, Winning the Game. Let's zoom out from the specific tactics for a minute and look at the core philosophy of what we are actually doing here. I really need you all to remember this fundamental truth of human decision-making. People do not buy services, ever. They buy 3 psychological outcomes: relief from their problems, clarity in the midst of their confusion, and confidence in their decisions. By focusing on the problem first, you build trust. By simplifying the solution, you create clarity, and by positioning the price last, you increase the perceived value, which gives them the confidence to finally sign on the dotted line. This quote from MRZ Canada Inc. is your ultimate locker room motivation to take out onto the field today. Success doesn't come from what you sell, it comes from how well you understand and solve problems. That is the absolute heart of the 70-20-10 playbook. You aren't just sending out proposals, you are building strategic pathways for their business growth. You are identifying real challenges and creating actionable solutions. So, here is my final challenge to you as your coach. If your deals aren't closing, if your proposals are just sitting unread in some inbox, are you finally ready to stop blaming your pricing, fix your structure, and change everything? The 70-20-10 playbook is right there waiting for you. Stop selling services and start solving problems. Now get out there and execute the play.